Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio, where we inspire you to remember your magnificence. Join the conversation on our live streams. Head on over to Angel Heart Radio on Facebook. And there's even more for you on angellight777.com. Everyone, hello, welcome to Angel Heart Radio. I am so super excited today. We have such a brilliant opportunity for you to really delve into something wonderful that is on its way right now. And we're going to share with you, we're going to share with you all the ways that you can not only understand it and be a part of it, but also support it. So I'd like to welcome Sheri Myers. Welcome. Sheri is the writer of this amazing movie.
Thank you, Anaya. This is such a gift to be able to start this discussion about Angel Lady, what it's about, and what our vision is for the film, and how it's for everyone. It's a film for everyone, and I thank you. I mean, really, this is
look, it's wonderful, Sheri. I'm so thrilled about this. I'm so excited about it. And some of the points we're going to be talking about, everyone, today, about what this movie represents to you and what it represents to me and what it represents to our community. We're going to touch on some really beautiful things today. I'm going to give you the real opportunity to open your heart to it and experience what is on its way to you. So, Sheri, we were chatting before we came on about what's available through this movie. But the first thing I want to ask you about, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is when did you actually write this movie?
This was the first script I ever wrote. First film script. I had written some plays. This is the first film script I ever wrote 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yep.
Now, if anybody remembers the harmonic convergence, right? There were a lot of planets lining up, and there were some very strange things happening here on the Earth plane. And there was this particular glitch that appeared on a particular TV, and people went nuts over it. And my writing partner, who is my boyfriend, and I decided that this was kind of a great jumping off point for what would happen. What would happen if you had a TV that had a glitch on it? It was a little funny little light, and yet people believed it was an angel. What would happen to your life, and where were you with that? How does it change your life? And that's what the story is about, is how the mystery of spirit comes into this woman's life. And she's not, this is one woman who has been in prison for 2 years. She has a teenage son. She's been a singer.
So she's got a really rich backstory, hasn't she? And I think that, one of the great things about this for me, Sheri, is when I'm listening to and discussing Ella's story with you, I can feel my own story in parts of it as well.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the really powerful things that this is going to bring to people. But before we go there, I just want to ask you this next question. 30 years ago, you have nurtured this dream. You have grown this dream for 30 years.
That's right.
What made you keep going? What inspired you to simply keep moving forward and not put it on the shelf and say, well, it was a great idea, but it didn't happen?
There were points, because when we first wrote the script, Edward Kovach and I, we first wrote the script, there was a flurry of activity, and then there was steady activity for 10 years. And it was different producers would look at the script and go, oh, I want to do this in Taos. So we rewrite it for Taos. And oh my God, I can get tax credits in Canada. Let's go. We wrote it for Vancouver. So we write it and it would go off somewhere and then it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And then it did. It sat on the shelf. But there's a bigger dream here. And
Yeah.
you know, if you don't have your first book doesn't sell, write another book. Just don't give up. And
Yeah,
to
that is
me,
such a powerful, and hang on, this is a good place to come in as well. It's too late to quit, everyone,
yeah,
right? If you look it up, look up Sheri Myers, Sheri Myers. You'll find that she's got a rich body of work. You can find It's Too Late to Quit on Facebook as well.
right.
And the Angel Lady on Facebook. Angellady-moive is the Facebook page. I want to really encourage you right now, right this actual second, if you're not driving or whatever, please go and like the page and follow it. And we're going to talk about why that's important. That little action is so important in a little while. So you've been able to keep going through this process, Sheri. You've had all these different influences coming in, wanting to change things and mix things up a bit. How did you stay on target with it? How did you stay true?
Oh, Anaya, desperation. That when you are really when one is really desperate, one may take you either are paralyzed if you're so desperate, it paralyzes you because you can't think of the next thing to do and you're so desperate that you're completely locked in with fear, or you just take some kind of crazy hike and that lands you in a different place. So this is what happened. Okay, my husband and I, Dan and I, came here to New Orleans, to Louisiana, with the vision of producing this little movie, Angel Lady, in this little Cajun town called Crowley. And we spent a year, 6 months of it, we lived in Crowley. We spent a year prepping this film in Crowley. And we did not realize, see, we had this vision that if you had money and you lived in Crowley, you'd be interested in investing in our film because we were promising to bring some kind of fame to your town. It could be like Steel Magnolias. You could make, it would be, you'd be famous because you could have these tours. And we had the support of the mayor. We had the support of the mayor's assistant. We had the support of some great people in town, but not the money. And the money were people who invested and risked their fortunes on oil, but not film. And so we failed in Crowley. We failed terribly and had spent thousands of dollars, so much money. We were known, and this is funny stuff because it's in my blog. I have a blog called It's Too Late to Quit. And I talk about, it's like we went from being the Hollywood people. I mean, we were the Mr. and Mrs. Hollywood in this tiny little Cajun town to be me just kind of hiding out in this little brick town on the edge of town. I'm hiding out. I have no car. Dan's taking the car. He has to get a job because we're just in such desperate space. So he gets a job in New Orleans. He's sleeping on somebody's fold out where she's got two cats who piss everywhere. And I am left in this brick house on the edge of town where all I can, there's cows, it's like pasture. It's like I am in the edge of nowhere and I'm all alone. And people we've kind of, we run our course there. I'm stuck. So I'm kind of staying in the house. And, because when I go out, people go, hey, Miss Sheri, when's the movie happening?
Oh, wow. So this is a real transitional period for you, isn't it? Because through all of this, you need now to find a way forward out of your head, right?
With the angels.
With the angels.
With the angels. And that is now become, that's the gift that time gave to me. Time gave me this gift of hanging in there. My dear, dear, dear niece, I was like, what am I going to We're living in New Orleans. How are we going to raise this money? And and we realized that we have to find the people who believe in angels. That's the people who will buy tickets to this movie. People who are interested in angels, the people who want to believe in angels. That's the ticket buyers. And so my cute little niece said, well, Aunt Sheri, why don't you just do a podcast? And then you can talk to all those people. I went, "Oh, well, as you know, it's like,
Yeah.
you got to be kidding. It's hard." But the first interview I got, and I didn't know anything about angels. This is like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I had written a movie about this glitch. Was it an angel? Was it not an angel? But I really had not had the benefit of working consciously with the angels and bringing the angel energy into my life and understanding that as the power that it is. So now I have been interviewing, starting with, oh my goodness, Lorna Byrne. I mean, my first interview was with this mega internationally known, I mean, this amazing kind of person who has earned this place internationally as a mystic who sees angels. And it started, my first one was with her, and then I just kept going and I kept going, and then this world opened up. And that's the world now that's behind the message of the film. This is the world now that we are bringing. That's the reason why I feel that, Anaya, what you're doing, which is you and I and so many of us really want people to be able to press the reset button.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? Because, and we're going to, find out a little bit about Ella, the main character, her backstory. Yeah. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's about coming to that point in your life. And I mean, guys, everyone watching, everyone listening, if you're listening later as a podcast or watching the replay, you'll know yourself. There are times in your life where you feel like there's no coming back from this. I've really made a mess of this, right? And that's the amazing thing about this movie, because the reset button exists for us all the time. And in fact, your movie itself got the reset by not going ahead all that time ago, because It would have been a very different thing. And you would have been a very different person. And it would have been a concept. Whereas now you have the benefit, the pure pleasure and delight of knowing for yourself that angels really do exist.
Experience. Yeah. Faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have faith. And through this process of podcasting over the number of years and meeting you again, and and like now building between us all this network of people who care very, very much about others' connection and about the potential for living a life with the angels as a conscious helper. And that's a big idea. And for me, and I'm just because I had to get over my ego, which was
don't we all?
Really bad. It was just ridiculous. I mean, all the years that I chanted, I said, well, I just don't want it chanting to be a crutch. I don't need a crutch. But we all need a crutch. I mean, we all need a crutch. But this has transformed now into prayer and meditation. So it's a cool thing. And you and so many people I've interviewed and so many people have listened to the interviews. This is not a movie. This is a movement. I know that now. And I know it's about bringing it's about bringing our spiritual helpers into our lives as active partners.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's that partnership. We often think that community is about the place we live or our family or our friends or workplace. But it really is about a much deeper connection, isn't it? It's our spiritual family, our angels, our guides and helpers. There are so many incredible beings specifically placed here right now for us to learn about and learn to work with and invite into our lives, so that they then become a wonderful support team, and our community, our spiritual community, grows, and then we attract other people and events, etc. So coming back to Ella now.
Yeah.
This young woman, what's her story? What can you tell us just a little bit about Ella?
She grew up in Mississippi.
How did she get to the place where she ended up in jail?
It's a cool story. I mean, she grew up in Mississippi, very poor. She had a baby quite young. She finds herself in this town. She's always sang. She sang in the choir. She sang. She's a singer, but she hasn't put it to use much until she meets this fella Billy, who is a tremendous musician and a drug addict and an abuser and a not good guy, but she kind of falls under his spell. And she and this guy, Billy, and her young son travel around the South performing. And it's wild and sometimes great because of the performing, but most of the time it's not good. And she just falls under this fellow's spell and really loses herself into this not good marriage. And her son is not in a good place either, Danny. He's just dragged along. And he is a brilliant kid. He's a brilliant, sensitive, sad little boy. Well, finally, Ella gets to a point where she writes her own song. She writes her own music. And she is at a recording studio where they're doing a new album, and she recording her song that she writes. And that's when this Billy comes in and beats her up, threatens her, tells her that she doesn't belong, she's not, that's not her right. It's all too long and it's trash. And he bails. She's beaten up. She can't perform. She can't work. So she and Danny are in desperate straits, and she kites some checks. She just, yeah. And she lands in prison for 2 years, and he goes to foster care. So when the movie opens, they've been traveling to find a safe place, change their names, find a safe place away so Billy doesn't find them, and just find a new place, safe place, start over. And she's working as a waitress. She's given the music, the whole part of her life is now locked up. Not safe to do. She and Danny are starting over in this little trailer, in this little poor part of this border town.
Yeah. Wow. So we can see here, can't we, with Ella and her son, is it Danny?
Danny, yes.
So Ella and Danny. So here they are, and Ella's must be feeling just so many emotions, overwhelming emotions. The fear of Billy, the powerlessness, feeling so incredibly disempowered. A lot of shame, I imagine, as well, because at her core, she really wants to be a good mother to Danny.
Yes.
So how can she do this when she's on the run with him and they've got no money and they've got no support? And so they end up in this little border town. And that's where the story really begins to unfold, isn't it? Because suddenly the magical thing begins to happen over the course of the movie, which leads up to this. And that's the community again. She begins to meet people, doesn't she?
She does. She lives in this community that's old. It's an old community. It's not like everybody's just moved in and moved out. Generations have grown up in this little border town. And next to Ella is living this woman, Doña Maria. And she is a curandera. She is a medicine woman. And she and her little band of friends, elderly Mexican-American ladies, sit there and they work on potions, and they work on things, and they do, they put together stuff for the neighborhood. And what we get to see with Ella's interaction with Doña Maria, we see Doña Maria as this woman who is, she is a very special person. She is a very spiritual person, and she's a very open person. And when Ella moves in next door, she cares about her. She adopts her. She is someone who is intensely interested in Ella, which is very different from a lot of communities that I've lived in, where you cannot know the person across the street, even though it's 15 years. And that happened to me in LA, which is one of the reasons why I live in New Orleans. So here in this little border community, we have Ella, who has not had a home and been on the road, been in prison, and she drops into this town. She lives in a trailer, and people, like, they bring her food, they care, they get to know Danny. And when this glitch appears on her TV, they're very interested and they want to see it. And when they see this glitch on her TV, they feel something. It's a mystery. They don't know what they feel. They don't know what it is, but they're drawn to this mystery. Whereas what she sees is a broken TV. That's
So
the difference.
suddenly we've got this opening, Sheri, we've got this opening, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where the story begins to unfold and begins to offer opportunity to what are we going to go on this journey? Are we going to start to wonder ourselves? Are we going to open up to it and maybe put a little bit of faith that this is going to lead somewhere? Maybe it's not just going to be like a broken down old TV that isn't, worth nothing. This is exciting by now, isn't it?
It is, and we can feel her resistance, and we can see her, I'm going to say her ego. This is stuff. This stuff is for people who are superstitious. This stuff is for people who are weak, which is another piece of what I think you and I know about this working with our angels, is that I'm no longer believing that, believing in your angels is because you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Part of it is you can't do it on your own. The other part is, there's a better way.
Absolutely. And that's the crux of this whole movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
That there is a better way. There is a way for reset. There is a way for redemption. There is a way for releasing shame and moving forward in a very positive and powerful way, regardless of how meager your beginnings may feel to you or present to the outside world, right?
Exactly. Because as with Too Late to Quit, as with this film, and with our podcasts and everything you and I do, especially what you are doing with the Angel Code and your material and just everything is about seeing the spark and just helping somebody to light that spark and acknowledging that spark in someone else and saying, hey, that's a great spark. That's your life. That's your life calling,
And
Does
that's
that
a
make sense?
big, it's huge, Sheri. And it's powerful because it's transgenerational for a start. It bridges all cultures, all beliefs. We all have times in our lives, we've had experiences, we've done stuff that we look back and think, what was I thinking? Or how can I ever be valuable or valued?
Yep.
Having been there. And that's one of the great things about movies, like what you're presenting now, what you're bringing forward. Like you say, it's not a movie, it is a movement. So join this movement, everyone. Go to Facebook, like the page, follow the page. Why is that important, Sheri? What does it matter? It's just a like or a follow. What's the matter?
It's an amazing thing that how much difference one person can make. But because if you take the opportunity to like and follow our page, and we get to send you, or at least you have a chance of seeing our, you know, our progress and the pieces of this as they fold in. You get to have this creative experience with us. And the people who are the funders and the people who are sitting over there in Germany and in Italy, and they sell this film to theaters and they sell it to streamers, they look at those numbers and they look to what all, I mean, how many people are already involved? How many people already care about this film? And we had a film, the film was called The Glitch. And we renamed the film. And as a consequence, all the Glitch Facebook page followers are there over in another country, and we can't travel them over to our new Facebook page with our new title, Angel Lady. So we have to kind of start moving this along. We have an administrative partner who is taking this to con. So she's showing it, she's discussing it with people who are sales agents, and those numbers are really important. It's amazing, really. I will also add that as a filmmaker and a creator, and you know this, Anaya, you can like be cranking out stuff for months and not really know if it landed.
Yes, I do know that very well.
Yeah, it's like, is anybody listening? Hello.
Am I in a room all by myself talking to myself?
I should, be talking to myself here. It's my 5th year of talking to myself. And then you'll find out, and I'm sure this happened with you. Somebody will say, oh my gosh, I've been listening to your podcast for years. It was like,
yes.
Y'all, supporting creatives is important.
It's
because
very important.
Very likely a creative person too. And it's karma. You support me, I support someone else. It all builds into creating valuing art.
Absolutely. And it is a pool. We're feeding the well, we're feeding the pool, we're feeding this rivers and streams and then the oceans of creativity. Right. And this is so incredibly valuable. And to the person who is creating and putting it out there, often, as a lot of you guys will know, not knowing, as Sheri just said, if it's landing, and also you're not being paid. It's something that you do because it matters to you and you want to make a difference in the world. Well, guess what? You are making a difference. So that like, that follow really does support movies. Well, and today's movie, Angel Lady, in a very profound but practical way.
Yes.
So please do. And if you've liked the Glitch page, head on over and like the Angel Lady. It's not called The Angel Lady, it's Angel
Lady-Movie. Because when they list the films on Netflix, we want to be the A.
Yes.
We're not the T, we're the A.
Yeah. So here we go. Things, right? Yeah, we've now got a way of moving forward, coming together, banding together, supporting one another. So here's Ella. She's in this border town. She's frightened. She's scared. She's hiding with her son. Yeah. How does she then begin to move into what is going to unfold in the movie for us?
Well, the Doña Maria and her ladies convince Ella to open up shop. Like, let's have visiting hours. Let's make this a deal. So they work with her because she loves getting the money. So they have visiting hours and they have like an altar and they start selling T-shirts and they start selling koozies. I mean, it's a business and it's kind of and it's fun, and people are acknowledging her as the angel lady. Now, for her, it's like, it's a broken TV, please, However, they endow her with this goodness. And in a way, she can't quite shake it off, nor does she want to. So she starts to become this angel lady, and she does the introductions and she'll do the prayer and she'll, she's being this good, kind hearted, spiritual person, still playing a role. But what's interesting is when we play a role, sometimes that role becomes us. And although she, deep in her heart is too scarred and too ashamed and so not a spiritual person, people have endowed that. Now, when the worst thing happens is when Billy comes to town and he wants to get back together and he wants to sell the TV and like go back on the road. And she says no in a real big bad way. And she pisses him off. Then he exposes her to the town. He exposes her who she really is. She spent time in prison. She's a con.
Wow. So all of her shame is now not only being triggered, but revealed in a very nasty way.
That's right.
To the people that she started to form relationships with. So this is a big moment for her, isn't it?
It is.
Somehow got to go forward through all of this.
Love saves her. These ladies, Doña Maria, they love her. They believe her. She is the angel lady. It doesn't matter what she did. It doesn't matter she was in. Hey, this is a border town. These are poor people. People go to jail all the time. So get over it. It's kind of that part of it. It's like, it doesn't matter. What matters is that because of her glitch, people, and this is another piece of the movie, which is, I find that this is the magical realism. People, there are miracles. There are people who pray and then they're driving home the next night and a voice tells them to avoid the next ramp. They do, and there was a terrible accident. Or someone shows up to say, there are miracles that happen. And she sees them and it's not going to believe it. However, there comes a point where Ella has to decide if she's going to reveal that she never believed in them
in the first place.
She has to decide if she's going to reveal that it was all a con. And she can't do that because she loves these people and they love her. And she can't shatter their belief. And so she takes the TV and she rides off to find a place to start over again. She flees. She has this typical normal reaction, which is, okay, I can't deal with that. I'm going to start over. It's just going to be boom.
Time to go. Vamoose. Yeah. So here we are. We've got this amazing story. And what I'm going to ask you now to consider is, how many times in your life have you been in a similar situation? How many times have you been in that situation where maybe you feel like you've been busted, you've been caught out, and you're not quite sure how to proceed? Well, I think Ella's character is really a little bit of all of us, isn't she? And Danny's character too, because he's now, he's maybe starting to build some hope that his mum is going to be able to actually stay with him and look after him, protect him, provide a life for him. So there are a lot of elements at play, aren't there? And I feel that this is such a powerful statement for me, and probably for you too, of the way that opens, of the way forward, of what happens to support that way. And sometimes it's very difficult to see it, isn't it? Because it's so shrouded in our fear and our shame and our guilt, anger, whatever it is. There is a lot involved. Angellady.com, Angel Lady on Facebook. Please like the page and follow the page. Give this project a boost. Support it in this very simple way. You know, it's a wonderful thing when you do that, to help usher something wonderful in. How many times do we say we want movies like this? We want to see more media like this. Well, this is your opportunity to help this one to really flourish and come forward and really do something beautiful in the world. So I was just sharing with everyone that, you know, we were talking about, hey, let's see if we can get the director, Edgar Pablos, to join us on another live stream and share his vision of the movie as well.
Oh my gosh, yes. Edgar is so special. He is so special. Here's a man who grew up on the border in El Paso. His parents were dentists and they worked across the border and in Mexico, and then they would come back to El Paso at, you know, this is how they brought up their family as American. And Edgar learned to speak English by watching movies and TV shows. And he has an encyclopedic understanding of film. And he has this incredible heart and connection to this neighborhood, these people, this culture that we're shining a light on, which is people who live on the border. Because in my country, a lot of people are, it's siloed. We are so siloed. We don't know anything about anybody else's culture. And usually we have opinions that are incorrect.
Yeah. Or uninformed, really. You know, properly uninformed. And I think that's true for all of us in many ways, Sheri. So this again is another great opportunity to not only learn more about the movie, learn more about Edgar, but really learn about ourselves as well. And I think that's what makes experiences like this so very valuable.
Yeah, we want this to be the kind of film that kind of lives with you and you want to see it again because now you're going to figure out stuff, because just before we got cut off, I was telling the climax of the film.
Oh, okay, everyone.
Maybe I shouldn't, but maybe I shouldn't, but maybe I will.
What is your heart telling? What's your gut telling you? Hold on to it for, maybe we can talk about that when we're discussing the film with Edgar. Actually, and if you guys want to have a little sneak peek of that, I got the news for you. Go to Angel Lady Movie page. There's a video there, and it might give you a little bit of a heads up on that one. That was it. And when I saw it, I just went, oh, I love that.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I loved it because I didn't see it coming. Well, when I saw what was unfolding, I was sort of only like a millisecond ahead. You know, it's that little bit ahead going, oh, I hope this is it. And of course it was. So go and do that, everyone. You'll love it. You'll love, 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 love it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Anaya.
Thank
you so much.
It's been fun, hasn't it?
It is. And it's tremendously, I mean, and you know, you worked how many years? Where's your book?
20. 20. Yeah, 20 for 20 years in the process. And see, my magic is happening again. Oh, I love it when it does it because it's my green glass. But one of our viewers so kindly said it was the angels giving me some magic.
Oh,
yeah. Yes. So yeah, 20 years, Sheri.
And so this sustaining a project over this amount of time is something that I just hope on a very basic level inspires everyone. Because you might, as a creative, you might have a project that's stuck in a drawer that you might think has no place in your life or you've given up on. But I'm here to encourage you to think another way, that is what you bring now to your art is your life, and you bring your experience.
Yeah. And the energy's been growing, hasn't been sitting idly by. Energy's been growing the whole time. Otherwise, the project would have dissolved. It would have left your mind.
That's true.
It wouldn't even exist. So it has been evolving. And it reminded me about the Australian kangaroo, the marsupial, the kangaroo.
Yeah.
A kangaroo is amazing. So they are pretty much continually pregnant.
Yeah.
So what they do is while they're nursing one Joey, they've always got a spare on hold, basically. Yeah, they're amazing. But
Wow.
they can also, if the conditions aren't right, if there's not enough water and not enough food, they can actually pause their pregnancy. Now, I know, and suddenly I saw the connection between your project and that it's been safely nurtured that whole time, waiting until the conditions are just right for it.
It's just right. That's exactly right.
So, and like the kangaroo, I'm really focusing and visualizing and praying that it goes ahead in these massive big leaps and bounds, just like a beautiful kangaroo does. They cover great distances and they have a lot of strength.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been fantastic, Sheri, and I'm so grateful we got to share this information and you with everyone.
Oh, Anaya. Oh, Anaya.
Fun, isn't it?
So fun, so special. And your support means everything to me. I mean, I'm really, really grateful. And I'm just so glad we're there with each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's time for you, Sheri. You've supported so many of us over the years with your podcast, How to Connect with Angels.
Well, as a matter of fact, Anaya we were talking about Angel Code on the most recent How to Connect with Angels podcast. That's a Facebook page to get into because there is so much angel related material. And Anaya, your interview, this is one of the best. One of the best I've ever done. Just pearls just coming out.
The energy was amazing.
Inspiration from the book and your life. And How to Connect with Angels podcast.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Very generous of you, Sheri. And you were just so gracious and you really allowed me the space. And I mean, I even cried watching it, and it's me. Right? So go and check out how
a lot. Yeah, please go and check that out.
So, and as you say, there are a lot of others there. There's so many available that you can simply just dive into as deeply or as shallowly as you want. Pick one, pick two, or just go for it, right?
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. So thank you, Sheri. Let's get in touch with Edgar. Let's get this ball rolling. Yeah. And let's get it happening really as soon as we can.
Oh, very exciting. And he's just one of the great guys of the universe. So
I can't wait to meet him.
I'm making my note right now.
Good job. I really loved his energy. As soon as I watched that 2-minute video again, that's on Angel Lady Movie page on Facebook. Go and watch it. Honestly, you could just feel I could just feel something coming out of Edgar, and I really loved his energy. And I thought, Sheri is on the money here. The angels have sent her the right person to really, with heart and soul, direct this movie in a very beautiful way. And he knows his stuff, as you said.
He does. And when you know that's the right person, as in love, hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on to it. Do not give up.
Absolutely.
Now we do it as a collective. Now we do it for all of us. So thank you, Anaya. Thank you.
My great pleasure. And thank you for being such a support to Angel Heart Radio and myself personally over the years. It's really beautiful. And I'm really delighted that we can support you as well. And personally, and I don't make this statement very often about people, but I believe in Sheri. I have a great respect, which I have a great respect for many of our guests, but with Sheri, man, oh man, darling, there's something about you, because I know you behind the scenes as well. This lady really is the real deal. So get on board with it, everyone. You'll be blessed.
You'll be blessed.
Thanks, honey.
Bye,
Everyone, stay with me, sweetie. Stay with me. Oh, no, she's gone. She was too fast. So, everyone, remember, be kind to you. Now, kindness is your superpower. Do you know that? Kindness is your superpower. Oh, she's coming back. So here she comes. She must have heard me right at the last second say, don't go. So stay with me. Kindness is your superpower, everyone. Remember that. It is a powerful, amazingly prevalent energy that you were born with. So be kind to you, be kind to others. There are 3 things in life. I recently heard a quote someone say, to be kind, to be kind, to be kind. Wow. So we love, love, love you. Take good care of you. And we'll be back with you very soon. Check out the other hosts and like and follow the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page. Hey, it really supports us as well. And it means you get to really enjoy what we're offering. Thanks, everyone. Lots and lots of love. You're amazing and you matter.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed by Angel Heart Radio hosts, guests, co-hosts and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.